If you are suffering alone, being attacked by those who should protect you and carrying a weight that no one sees, maybe you're not weak. Maybe you are a chosen one. And what I'm going to reveal now is going to change everything. Have you ever wondered why your life seems so much harder than others? Why are the battles you face invisible but devastating? Why, even though you do good, do you attract envy, betrayal, and loneliness? The answer may lie in the fact that you carry a spiritual mark that the enemy recognizes before you even realize it. Being chosen by God is not a quiet blessing, it is a call that comes with war. And it's not just any war, it's a silent battle, fought in the shadows, where the enemy wears disguises so convincing that even the wisest can fall. In this video, I'll show you the signs that you're a chosen one, reveal how the devil plants traps around you, and most importantly, teach you how to identify who's on your side and who's faking it. Because the truth is this: every chosen one has a demon in disguise next to him, and it's time for you to see this clearly. This video is the beginning of a series that will open your spiritual eyes and will show you why every chosen one has a demon in disguise next to him. But before you can face the enemy, you need to understand who you are in God. And that's what we're doing here. If you identified with all this, stay with me until the end, because what you will hear here can change your way of seeing your pain, and above all, your mission. Being chosen by God does not mean living an easy life. In fact, it's the other way around. It means carrying a greater purpose, a mission that many times you still don't fully understand, but that has already begun to transform who you are. The chosen one goes through deserts before seeing the miracle. He is set apart before he is exalted. He is betrayed before he is recognized. And even without knowing the reason, everything around him begins to change when he positions himself on the path of promise. Maybe you're going through phases of isolation, rejection, doors that close, people who walk away without explanation. And I want to tell you, this is not the end, it's just the beginning. God is separating you because before he delivers the purpose, he prepares the ground. And that hurts. It hurts because the chosen one needs to learn to trust God more than anyone else. It hurts because the enemy has already noticed your mark and will try to hit you using whoever is nearby. The chosen one is not perfect, but it is sensitive. He feels in the spirit what the eyes do not see. He senses danger before it manifests itself, and therefore it bothers him. The world doesn't understand. People think it's dramatic, intense, too spiritual, but God understands because he's the one who put that sensitivity inside of you. The call of the chosen one requires renunciation. It requires faith. It requires courage. But above all, it requires discernment. Because the closer you get to your mission, the more the enemy will try to infiltrate. And the most dangerous is not the declared enemy, it is the disguised one. The one who pretends to support you, but hopes for you to fall. The one who smiles in front of you, but works against you in the shadows. Before continuing, if this message has already touched your heart in any way, do the following. Click on the like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below saying, "I am a chosen one, and I am standing." This strengthens our community and makes this word reach more lives. Now let's continue. Have you ever noticed that many times, the one who criticizes you the most is the one who knows you closely? The one who tries to demotivate you, diminish you, or discredit you the most is precisely the one who has walked with you for a long time. The chosen one needs to understand a hard but liberating truth. Envy rarely comes from afar. She lives next door, and it is not new. Since biblical times, the greatest pain of the chosen ones has almost always come from within the home or from close circles. Cain killed Abel out of envy. The brothers themselves threw Joseph into a well. Moises was questioned by his own family. David was despised by his brothers before he faced Goliath, And Jesus was betrayed by someone who sat at table with him. Envy cannot stand the brilliance of the chosen one, because the chosen one does not need to force it, does not need to show off. He simply carries something that bothers him. God's presence in it speaks louder than any speech, and the enemy sees this. But often the enemy won't use a stranger to stop you. He's going to use someone who knows his steps, someone with access. You may have been through situations where you trusted someone, shared a dream, told them a plan, and then saw that person try to sabotage you or make fun of you. And that hurts, because the chosen one is not made of stone. He feels, he cries, he suffers, but it also learns. He learns that not every smile is sincere, not every support is true, and not every approach comes from God. And here's the secret. The chosen one can't hold grudges, but needs to develop discernment. The devil uses envy as a tool to hurt, confuse, and stop the advance of the chosen one. But if you're spiritually connected, you'll identify when the environment changes, when the energy is heavy, when the weather gets weird, even if no one says a word. Envy up close is treacherous because it disguises itself as worry. The person says, "I'm just looking out for you." But inside he is hoping to go wrong. And the chosen one needs to be attentive, not to become paranoid, but to protect himself spiritually, because those who carry a big promise need double protection. And if you are listening to this now and remembering situations or people who moved away, changed with you for no reason, started to avoid you or even speak badly, understand this is not a coincidence. This is a spiritual reaction to what you carry. The chosen one bothers those who are conformed because they walk towards the purpose, while the others live stuck in the past. Their light betrays the darkness that they do not want to abandon. But don't stop. Don't back down. Don't change who you are because of the envy of others, because what God has given you is greater than any attempt at sabotage. Joseph's well did not hinder the palace. Judas's betrayal did not prevent the cross, and the cross did not prevent the resurrection. You are a chosen one, and if they are envying you, it is because they have already realized it. The enemy rarely presents himself as an enemy. He does not come with red eyes, nor with a deep voice, nor with the smell of sulfur. No, he comes smiling. It comes with a look of support, with sweet words, with advice that seems sensible, but that little by little diverts you from what God has commanded you to do. The chosen one needs to understand this early. The devil is not in a hurry. He has a strategy. Since Eden, he has worked with appearance, with disguise. He did not pluck the fruit from the tree and force Eve to eat. He just hinted at it. He hinted at it. He distorted it. He presented the doubt wrapped in logic, and Eve fell, not because it was weak, but because the enemy seemed convincing. So, he continues to act to this day. It disguises itself as an opportunity when in fact it is a distraction. It disguises itself as love when in fact it is emotional prison. He disguises himself as a friend, but he plants doubt, fear, comparison. And all of this seems harmless at first. But what seems small today can become a giant down the road. The enemy's most dangerous disguise is precisely this. He speaks his language. He understands his need, his haste, his struggle, and presents himself as a solution. But it is a solution out of God's time. And everything that is born outside of God's time becomes weight. There are people who came into your life with beautiful words, but dried up your strength, pushed you away from the presence, messed up your mind, made you doubt what you were sure of before. And you didn't even notice it right away because the chosen one sometimes confuses affection with purpose. But not all affection comes from God. That's why discernment is more important than empathy. What looks good isn't always fair. What seems right is not always holy. And the chosen one needs to be attentive because the enemy doesn't just want to attack you, he wants to confuse you. He wants you to fight the wrong battles, distrust the right people, and embrace what was sent to destroy you. The enemy's disguise is silent, seductive, subtle. He doesn't force you, he convinces. And the biggest trap is precisely this: when you yourself decide to enter through a door that God did not open. Then be on the watch, because the enemy does not fear your gift, your voice, or your strength. He dreads the moment when you wake up spiritually and begin to see the disguises. When the chosen one understands the game changes, because from then on, he stops moving by emotion and starts moving by revelation. Not every attack is visible. Not every war has the sound of swords. In fact, the most dangerous attacks against the chosen one do not happen in the body, they happen in the soul. The deepest pain is not the one you see, it is the one you feel inside, in silence, when no one imagines that you are fighting. Have you ever woken up one day well, and out of nowhere, an inexplicable sadness overwhelmed you? Have you ever felt a heaviness in your chest, a tiredness that is not physical, an emptiness that seems to fill nothing? This is spiritual. It is the invisible battlefield where the enemy attacks the chosen, because he knows if he hurts your soul, he paralyzes your purpose. If he plants doubts, hurts, rejections, fear, anxiety, he doesn't even need to touch your body. You start sabotaging yourself. The enemy is an expert at touching your open wounds. It relives traumas, activates insecurities, traps you in emotional cycles, and all this without having to take a step outside the spiritual field. He knows where to get you, in that word that someone told you in childhood and it still hurts, in that comparison that makes you feel insufficient, in that guilt that prevents you from praying. This is an attack on the soul. And do you know why he does this with the chosen ones? Because the chosen one, first of all, is sensitive. He feels more than he speaks. He discerns more than he explains. And because she feels so much, she also hurts deeply. But that's not weakness. It's part of your calling. Because only those who feel can heal. Only those who understand pain can minister consolation. But the enemy wants to use this gift against you. He wants to turn you into a prisoner of your own emotions. It wants to keep you confused, hurt, unstable, so that you can never walk in a straight line. Therefore, the chosen one needs to learn to protect the soul. He needs to watch what he hears, what he watches, what he allows to enter the heart. Because not every wound is caused by actions. Many are caused by words. And the enemy knows that one wrong word can contaminate an entire promise. But here's the secret. The same God who chose you also wants to heal your soul. He didn't call you just to win external battles. He wants to restore his internal wars. Because a healed soul hears God more clearly. A soul at peace is not easily manipulated. And a strengthened soul becomes unbeatable. Every chosen one, sooner or later, will be faced with a betrayal, not because of a lack of faith, not because of an error in judgment, but because it is part of the process, it is part of the journey. Every chosen one, sooner or later, will come to know the spirit of Judas. Jesus knew who Judas was. He knew the heart of each of the 12. Even so, he allowed Judas to be at the table, to walk with him, to see miracles, to be used. Because the traitor, as much as it hurts, is also part of the mission, Judas does not appear as an enemy. He presents himself as a disciple, as an ally, as someone who is close enough to know his routine, his steps, his confidence. And that's what makes the stab more painful. It comes from the back, but it comes from someone you let walk by your side. Maybe you've experienced it. He trusted, opened his heart, shared dreams, and was betrayed. And the pain did not come from what the person did, but from who did it. The mind does not understand. The heart bleeds, faith shakes, because the spirit of Judas not only hurts, it confuses. It makes you question whether it's worth trusting again, closes you emotionally, isolates you. That this is exactly what the enemy wants. But look what Jesus did. He didn't stop Judas. He didn't kick him out early. He did not unmask the traitor in public because he knew the betrayal did not cancel the plan. It was part of it. The cross was only possible because Judas delivered Jesus, and the resurrection only happened because the cross came first. The chosen one needs to learn this. Not every betrayal comes to destroy you. Some come to position you, to mature you, to clean you, to keep you away from contaminated environments, to push you towards your destination. Because if you always depend on applause, you will never endure the silence of purpose. Judas represents that moment when the chosen one needs to let go of the need to be understood, accepted, or defended. That's when you realize that not everyone who walks with you bears the weight of your mission, and that's okay. Betrayal does not nullify the anointing, it reveals what was already hidden. The spirit of Judas is out there, sometimes in people, sometimes in environments, sometimes in attitudes. He always acts in the shadows, with falsehood, with hidden intentions. But fear not, for he who called you already knew all this, and yet he chose you. What separates a chosen one from a distracted one? It is not strength, nor intelligence, nor experience. It is discernment. In a world where everything seems beautiful, inspiring, and God's, the greatest danger is in what seems but is not. And this is where discernment comes in. The chosen one needs to stop looking only with the eyes of the flesh and start seeing with the eyes of the Spirit. Discernment is not judgment, it is not distrust, it is revelation. It's that feeling that you can't explain, but you know something is wrong. That's when everything feels right, the environment, the person, the invitation, the plan, but something inside you says, don't go, don't trust, don't accept. And when you ignore that, you get hurt. The Bible says that in the latter times, even the chosen ones could be deceived if they did not watch. And do you know why? Because the enemy does not come with a trident, he comes with a Bible in his hand. He presents himself as light. He knows what to say, how to behave, how to conquer. Therefore, discernment is essential. Without it, the chosen one becomes an easy target. Spiritual discernment is the compass that separates what is emotional from what is spiritual, what is human from what is divine, what has been sent by God and what has been planted by the enemy. And beware, not everything that works comes from God. Not everything that glitters is gold. Sometimes what looks like victory is just a make-up distraction. Have you ever been in situations where something seemed perfect, but then found out it was a trap? Have you ever trusted someone who seemed full of beautiful words, but then revealed a rotten character? This is not just coincidence. It is a lack of activated discernment. The spirit of deception is real. He even acts within religious environments. He quotes verses, speaks in the name of God, cries, gets emotional, sings, but behind it he has manipulation, vanity, interest. Therefore, the chosen one needs to seek discernment more than position, more than fame, more than open doors. Because when you have discernment, you identify the spirit before the attitude. You hear beyond the words, you feel beyond the touch. And then the game changes. You stop falling into the same traps, start selecting your connections, and start saying no with authority. Not out of pride, but out of direction. God doesn't want you to live confused. He wants you to be led by His Spirit. But for that, you need to ask, Lord, give me discernment. It makes me see what the eyes don't see. Show me who's who. Discernment is the silent shield of the chosen one. It frees you from losses that didn't even happen. And sometimes the greatest deliverance is God leaving you alone, away from those who were only going to slow you down. If there is a phase that every chosen one will face, it is isolation. That season of life where it seems that everything and everyone has moved away, where conversations decrease, invitations cease, doors close, and the heart begins to wonder, did I do something wrong? But listen to this carefully. The isolation of the chosen one is not punishment, it is preparation. It's God saying, now it's just between you and me. The truth is that not every distancing is a loss. Sometimes it's deliverance. Sometimes it's God hiding you to treat, heal, align, because what He will do through you requires silence, focus, and intimacy. The problem is that the soul screams, neediness speaks loudly, and the enemy tries to transform isolation into a feeling of rejection. He plants lies like, nobody cares about you, you're no longer relevant, you have been forgotten. But God has not forgotten you. God hid you. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness before he delivered a people. David was forgotten in the field before he was anointed king. Joseph was alone in prison before taking the throne. And even Jesus, before beginning the ministry, was led by the Spirit into the desert. Because the desert is not a place of punishment, it is a place of preparation. It is there that God removes noise, reveals the true self, heals wounds that were camouflaged by activism, and, above all, strengthens the spirit. Isolation is a spiritual laboratory, and those who try to escape from it arrive weak in purpose, because those who skip the process never sustain the promise. You who feel alone, excluded, left aside, understand this. God is doing something inside. He is teaching you to depend less on people and more on presence, to trust the invisible more than the visible. God's silence is not absence, it is strategy. He's quietly empowering you to use you in public. Do not try to force doors. Don't try to go back to where God has already taken you. It has connections that He Himself has severed. There are environments that He Himself closed. Because if you stayed in them, you wouldn't survive what's to come. The loneliness of the chosen one is not a sign of human rejection, it is a sign of divine approval, because whoever God wants to use, He first separates. Being chosen is not easy. On the contrary, it is a burden that only those who carry it know the weight. There are days when the calling seems more like a burden than a privilege. There are times when responsibility suffocates, fatigue dominates, and the soul wants to give up. Have you ever felt that? That invisible weight that makes you think, can I handle it? Am I prepared? Is it worth continuing? The chosen one knows that the fight is not only against the world, against circumstances, or even against people. The greatest battle takes place within oneself, between the will to follow and the temptation to give up, between firm faith and the discouragement that insists on appearing. And you know what's curious? The further you advance, the more the enemy increases the attack, because he knows how valuable you are to the kingdom of God. The more you shine, the more it tries to turn off that light. The call weighs because it is real. It is the voice of God that calls you to be different, to be salt and light, to change lives. This is not light. It is a compromise that does not allow for a U-turn. But it is precisely in this weight that you will discover your strength, because the weight of the call also brings growth, maturity, and a deep intimacy with God that only those who struggle know. When the call weighs you down, it's time to stop, breathe, and remember who called you. It wasn't a momentary impulse, it was an eternal touch. God does not deliver a mission without delivering sustenance. He does not ask you to carry a burden alone. He is your refuge, your rest, your help in the hour of trouble. If the weight seems too much, don't blame yourself. That's part of it. But don't let that weight paralyze you. Use this weight to lean on God, to grow in faith, and to understand that you are exactly where you need to be, even when the path seems dark. Because in the end, the weight of the call becomes its greatest glory. Sometimes the chosen one feels a silence that hurts, a silence that is not empty, it is loaded with meaning. It is the silence of God. This silence may seem like absence, but it is presence in another dimension. It is God speaking in the silence of the soul, speaking with a love that cannot be explained, but felt. Many confuse this silence with abandonment. They think they have been forgotten, left behind, or that their cry has not reached heaven. But the truth is that divine silence is a time of active waiting. God is working behind the scenes, molding, preparing, aligning everything for the right time. In silence, He teaches us to trust without seeing, to believe without proof, to hope without giving up. God's silence is powerful because it takes us out of haste and anxiety. He puts us in total dependence on Him, reminding us that control is not in our hands, it is in the hands of the One who called us. For the chosen one, this silence is an invitation to deep intimacy, a call to listen beyond the voices of the world, to hear the whisper of the Spirit. Do not fear silence. Do not run away from it. In divine silence, God is preparing you for something that goes beyond what your eyes can reach, something that will touch lives, change destinies, and reveal the purpose for which you were chosen. The journey of the chosen one is not easy, but it has a glorious end. After all the invisible struggles, the betrayals, the isolation, the weight of the call, and even the silence of God, comes victory. And this victory is not only over external enemies, but over everything that tried to stop you inside, over fear, doubt, sadness, and all the chains that the enemy tried to put on you. The chosen one wins because he does not rely on his own strength, but on the promise of the Lord. He knows that every battle was allowed for him to grow, for his faith to be refined like gold. The victory of the chosen one is living proof that God is faithful, that He never forsakes His own, that He causes all things to work together for good to those who are called according to His purpose. And this victory is to be witnessed, to inspire, to liberate, to open doors that previously seemed impossible. You who are listening, who have faced the enemy in disguise, who have felt the weight of the call and the loneliness of the desert, know the victory is yours, because the chosen one never walks alone. The chosen one has God on his side, and with Him no force can resist. Get up with faith, with courage, and with the certainty that the best is yet to come. Victory is the chosen one's, and it starts within you now. Now you know. You're not crazy, you're not alone, and you're not being punished. You are being prepared for something that goes far beyond what your natural eyes can see. Every betrayal you faced was a stepping stone. Each night of crying was a purification. Each closed door was a divine protection. And each moment of solitude was God separating you from the ordinary to consecrate you in the extraordinary. The enemy tried to stop you because he recognized in you what many still do not see, the mark of the Most High. But he failed, and it will continue to fail, because whoever God chooses, no one rejects. Whom God anoints, no one destroys. From now on, you no longer walk blindly. You see the disguises, identify the traps, and move with discernment. Your journey isn't over, it's just beginning. And the best? God has already decreed, victory is yours.